Yo, yo, my name is Mr. Regular, and this is it, man. This is the Suicune. If you couldn't tell by the title, this is pretty much tips and tricks and strategies and all the things you need to know about playing Suicune. Because right now, I believe that it's one of the best decks, possibly the best deck that the game's ever had. Um, and it just it keeps adapting. One thing I kept noticing and watching other people play Suicune that a lot of people made the same mistakes. Silly mistakes. I also make them, trust me. And they still end up winning because it's Suicune. But I thought what I'd do is, in this video, just talk about different spots that might come up, especially in this meta when we're facing a lot of mirror matches, um, Blazikins, Hydreigons, Decidueyes, Altaria now. But yeah, this is the deck list that I use and I'm most comfortable with right now. This is it. There's a lot of different variations. I see new variations with Sabrina. Yep. With Sabrina, with X-Speed, with Misty. I'm not joking, with Misty. And yeah, I'm like firmly up in the top 1000. Like these guys are flipping coins in ranked, bro. But yeah, man, let's talk about the game, and then I guess as spots come up, we will talk about them, and yeah, like I guess that's how we can just do this video because I really wanted to kind of get this out. But I guess let's just jump in. You'll notice that I haven't put down anything that's going to increase the Suicune damage, even though I've got an Ndidi because I was going first this game. If you rewind, you can see I was going first. So he got his first attack with me, but I was able to. That's one thing you gotta know with Suicune, right? So how much damage can they do to you? How much damage can you do to them? Always be doing that thought. Always have that thought. It's 20 damage for each bench Pokemon on the board. So I knew that he can only hit me for 80 damage. I know that Suicune can heal through 80 damage with the Irida, a Cape, and a Ndidi, and we get to swing back. Now, the way that he can heal through another hit is by, yeah, Irida and Ndidi. This is why Ndidi is so important in this list, is because it's very, very good against the mirror match. Because if he didn't have the Ndidi heal, he would only be able to heal up to 100, and I can return KO on 100. That's why also, like, I didn't dump the bench, because I was managing the damage that Suicune can do. Remember, rule number one in the mirror. How much damage can we do? How much damage can they do? So we're in a pretty good spot, also considering that they haven't evolved into a Greninja. And this is another spot. Like, what do you bench? Do you bench the Froakie? Do you bench the Suicune? In this case, it's always Suicune because they got a full bench. We don't have rare candies, so it's almost like you'd never want to get too greedy by putting two Froakies down unless it's absolutely necessary, because they're very likely going to Mars you in this spot where you've just taken 2 price points. Another thing is, like, I Marsed early, right? Like, when do you Mars? When is a good time to Mars? It's 3 things. I'm going to make a note on these. 3 things. It depends on these 3 things, right? I wrote these down. Your hand size, well, their hand size at least. So if they got 8 cards, they got a Froakie on board, like very similar to the situation that we had now, Mars. Their board situation, obviously that goes into their hand size also. And then lastly, how many points do they have? So you get more value, the more points that they have. And that's it. There's no other reason. There's no other considerations. There's no like, I needed to burn a card or I just felt like it. No, dude. You can Mars preemptively if you think you're going to get Mars yourself. It's always very helpful. But yeah, let's move on. I think this might seem like a lot of information just to kind of be dumping on a simple like YouTube video, which has got me thinking maybe I should make this a multi-part series where I go over Suicune, because there's going to be so many situations and the deck is going to adapt. All I can really talk about now is situations that will probably come for you. So like here, for example, right? We were talking about Mars earlier, when to Mars. Like, Suicune had such a massive hand. So we look at consideration number one, which is how big is their hand, and it makes total sense because they don't have their Greninja up, just to Mars their hand so that we can continue to run through with Greninja EX. Also, taking away the Irida there means that, because again, something we spoke about in the first game is that they can heal through 100 damage, back-to-back hits, with an Indeedee on board and an Irida and Cape. But they cannot do it without an Irida. If they need to have all three of those things. So if you're planning to hit with 100, make sure that they don't have a Cape, and Indeedee, or an Irida. The best way to do that, maybe a preemptive Mars. But let's talk about this game. I've slowed down the game footage so we can talk about this particular spot. Because it's a classic situation. It's never over until it's over, especially when you're playing against Suicune. Now, if you put yourself into the opposition's shoes, it's like kind of a bad spot. You don't have any points on the board, and they've just taken your 2 prize pointer, so they get their other Greninja up, and there is a way that they win this game, and they start working down my Froakie. Now, we get masked, of course. Now, this is the situation. It's like this was always going to happen. It's like this is something that you kind of need to plan around for when you're playing against a Suicune. And this is why Suicune has just got an answer for everything, okay? So it's like you take their 2 prize points and then you're stuck with 1 card. Now, we fortunately drew into the card that we needed, but I'm still going to talk about the spots. And this isn't BM. I just kind of wanted to just demonstrate, I guess. But because they're focusing their pings on Froakie, we kind of want to mitigate the ping damage, or at least try and make them focus all those ping damages by healing the Froakie, manually retreating, because that didn't count as a retreat with Greninja's ability, and retreating him out, and then, yeah, I mean, the Cyrus was the win con. I didn't have to do it, but I kind of wanted to demonstrate. So it's actually a tech that comes up quite often. Like, I find it comes up quite often. Like, for example, when you've got like a Greninja burning against a Blaziken, and you need to get rid of the burn, you can use the ability very much like how like Celesteela would put Buzzwole in the active, and then you would attack with Big Beat, and then Celesteela, a Katana, or a Famosa, then retreat it out with that 1 energy, put Buzzwole back in the active, and then punch Big Beat again. It's exactly the same tech with Greninja EX, and something that had 1 retreat cost. But yeah, I think we can talk about some other games, other matchups. So here's one. Here is one. It's starting Indeedee going first, and this will happen. Trust me, it'll happen. Do not auto-concede. When you're playing a Suicune, there's a motto. Never give up. Never give up. Play the best way you can, unless it's like literally just over. Don't concede. So we start Indeedee, which does suck, but we've got the combo in our hand. If we didn't, because we're playing against an Absol, there's really no need to bench anything, because we can just hold our hand. Yes, they get a bigger copycat, which is unfortunate, but like there's no point in putting like a 30 damage on a Froakie, and then the next turn we lose our Froakie. But even though we've got the combo in our hand, we don't want to... I think I'm going to slow this game down. Hold on. Okay, this should be better. Yeah. So we need to mitigate the 30 damage that's being rained on us by this Absol. So the best way that we can do that is by using the Indeedee heal. Now, 20 damage or 20 heal doesn't seem like a lot, but I promise you it all matters. So we use the energy to get Indeedee out, put Greninja in the active, use the heal, put down Suicune, and then use the ability to put Suicune in the active. Now you have to do it in that order. And like, again, like, you'll be surprised how many times this comes up, where you have to choose exactly who you want to heal with Indeedee. Because that 20 damage, that 20 heal, is very, very important. And then, of course, you want to end the turn off with Suicune in the active so you can start drawing cards. But now this way, there's only 10 damage on our Greninja EX, and he's ready, bro. He's pretty much, well, he's not ready, but like we've just mitigated 20 damage off the board. We've got Suicune in the active where we want him, and yeah, this is like not as bad as a situation as it first started. Now, it's still pretty bad because this Absol still gets free reign. We've got no energy on the board, and they're very likely just going to work down our Greninja. They're just going to keep raining that 30 damage on the Greninja, and we don't have any energy on board, so we're not ready to attack. So we need another attacking option. Unfortunately, we pick up a Suicune. Now again, like we talk about what you should bench. Now in this particular situation, we don't have the rest of the combo for another Greninja, and I don't think we need it. Now, what can do the most damage is another Suicune, because this board is full. Like we also like, the thing is we want to place it on the Suicune because we don't want to move in with a Greninja that has 60 damage on it. Like we could put it in the active and then heal it down to maybe 40 damage on the Greninja, which kind of puts it in a good position, but still not like favorable. So this way we kind of mitigate the damage on the board. We force Absol to attack the fresh new Suicune, and of course, because we've got the Greninja EX, we can just freely retreat him in, or put him in to the active this next turn. And yeah, they did something very smart, and they pinged the Indeedee, which tells us that they've got a Cyrus in the hand. So when you ask yourself, when to Mars? This is a Mars spot. Their hand is huge. They very likely have a Cyrus. So we take the Cyrus out of their hand. Hopefully, they don't have any points on the board, but we are in a pretty good position. Now they're very likely going to take out our Cyrus, which does suck. An Erido would be nice for us because we can heal the entire board. That's something also, like when you've got a Greninja EX, right, and you've got free retreat, that means you don't lose any energy on the board. So your Iridas, you can get so much more value from your Iridas when, yeah, they red card us, right, and they take away the Cyrus. I don't know why they red carded us, but this is another reason why Indeedee is so good against an Absol. I mean, they got Dark Rider, which can ping for 100 damage next turn, but like they can't stay in the active. Like that's the thing, they can't stay in the active because my Greninja is ready to do another 100 damage to follow up. So unless they got Pokemon Centilady and I don't know, like an Indeedee, they can't stay in the active. But they can put in this other one. And what's funny is like they red carded the Cyrus left, and we got one card left on our deck, and it's the Cyrus. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. Like as long as we evade their Cyrus, we don't lose a game. So here, like for example, we've got one card left in our deck, right? So we don't need to attack. We can just heal up the entire board, because if they do pick up a Cyrus, right, now they cannot win. There's nothing that's Cyrusable. So Indeedee is at full HP. They're never going to attack this 190 behemoth, and I know my next card is Cyrus. So it's like, good luck, bro. Good luck dealing with this. And of course, like if the game plan was that there was no Cyrus, then we would have to put some damage on the board here. But I still don't mind the full board heal, especially because we got Greninja coming up also. So we'll be able to hit for 140 damage, essentially. So the red card is, again, this is so funny, right? We've still got a Cyrus left in our deck, right? Look at that. One card left. They red card us, and the bottom card is the card that we need still. That's insane. They did it twice, dude. They did it twice. And they managed to just get so unlucky by evading the Cyrus. But it didn't really matter because they're still not going to be able to KO us here because our Greninja does so much HP with the cape on. If he didn't have the cape on, we would actually be in a little bit of danger because of the giant, the Rocky helmets. Not really. What am I saying? He's a beast, bro. But anyways, yeah, we find Cyrus and that's a GG's. Let's do one more, and I think we're going to leave it there for today. I know attention spans are a thing here, so let's do one more game. Okay, so this is a Blaziken game, of course. And we're starting indeed, look at that. But in this situation, you almost always want the cape on Suicune. Suicune is your priority. Your second cape, and this is a very good showcase of why we run two capes, is always on the Furky. Now, they switch out to the Heatmore Flame Patch. Now I know they're -1 Flame Patch. And of course they're going for the Furky, because they always do. Which is a mistake in my opinion. But nevertheless, we would never put down the Furky if we didn't have an answer. Because, yeah, we do not want to lose a Furky. But we do get the best Greninja, well, not the best Greninja, but the best Greninja for now. And we can start working down the baby Torchics. So, because they can't do any damage to the active, we can safely put energy on the active without like worrying that 160 damage is going to get burnt down. But so they were very smart. They put in damage across the board. They've got damage on the Ndidi, they've got damage on the Greninja, which means they could Cyrus either one of those two up at any point. Now this is bad for us because now we can't even, yeah, like if we didn't have the cape, we would have been not KO'd. But what's really important is that the Ndidi can help us basically live a lot. Like, for example, the capes, or if there's burn. But here we're in the spots. We're in the spots. We're not ever going to be able to hit and survive the Blaziken. And we don't do enough damage to KO it yet. So we have to play to our outs, which is to play towards a Greninja EX at the time. Because now things are different. We don't have a Suicune in the front drawing us cards. They've masked us, which is pretty bad. But we do draw into a very significant combo. We draw into the Suicune with a full bench, and we have a cape. Now the Suicune cape combo is very significant, but very much so in this matchup where Blaziken can hit 440. So here we pretty much win the game. Because with ping and with a full board, Suicune is able to, and plus weakness, might I add, Suicune's able to hit for 160. And that's something that we were trying to play towards. We were trying to get the Blaziken into like a range where we can attack it. And we could just stall with Suicunes and the active while he's drawing us cards, putting a cape on it. But here, like, we can just prioritize the energy on the Suicune because it's going to do more damage. We don't have the Greninja EX. So let's just lock in the win with Suicune. And I think they knew that. So even if we did, we're still burned, we can just indeed through it. And yeah, man, GG's. I do have other games, but I think we're going to leave it there. And let me know if you want me to do these kind of videos, specifically with Suicune, but I can do with other decks. I do other profiles of ranked decks. I like to bring whatever's working in ranked and share it with you guys. But Suicune has pretty much got me into the top 200 at the moment. So, yeah. Otherwise, guys, remember the giveaway is still live. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new here, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.